A fox can get into a henhouse and kill every single chicken inside. Not one or two, all of them. And here's the wild part. It'll walk away without eating a single one. Weasels do the exact same thing. So do minks. Give them access to a coop full of birds, and they won't stop at enough food for tonight. They just keep killing. And it's not just farmyard predators. Out in the wild, a leopard will find a cheetah's den, kill every cub inside, and leave. No eating, no dragging anything away, just gone. So here's the question that should be bugging you right now. Why would an animal kill way more than it needs? Why kill something it's never even going to eat? Let's start with the foxes, because this one's been studied for decades. Back in the 1970s, a zoologist named Hans Kruuk spent years watching red foxes raid gull colonies on the coast of Scotland. And what he found was strange. A fox would sneak into a nesting colony at night and kill dozens of gulls in one visit. Dozens? And then eat maybe two. This wasn't a one-off. Kruuk watched it happen over and over. The foxes weren't stockpiling food either. Most of the kills just sat there, untouched, the next morning. Turns out, scientists have a name for this. It's called surplus killing. That's when a predator kills way more prey than it could possibly eat in one sitting, sometimes way more than it'll ever eat, period. And once you know the term, you start noticing it everywhere. Weasels in henhouses. Orcas herding a school of fish and killing dozens before eating a handful. Leopards wiping out an entire litter of cheetah cubs in one visit. Domestic cats. Yeah, your cat. Killing birds and leaving the bodies on your doorstep like a little trophy it has zero interest in eating. So what's actually going on? The first guess scientists had was pretty simple. Maybe it's about practice. Maybe young, inexperienced predators just haven't learned to stop yet, and they keep killing because the instinct hasn't been switched off by hunger signals. And there's a little truth to that. Young predators do surplus kill more often. But here's the problem. Grown, experienced predators do it too. Adult foxes, adult leopards. Animals that have hunted successfully 1,000 times before. So they just don't know better doesn't hold up. The real explanation starts to make sense once you stop thinking about food and start thinking about competition. Ecologist Michael Soule coined a concept called meso-predator release, and it basically says this. When a top predator removes a smaller competitor, even one it never eats, it opens up way more resources for itself. Fewer competitors means more prey, more territory, less risk. Killing isn't always about the meal in front of you. Sometimes it's about clearing the field. And there's a real-world example that shows just how big this effect can get. In parts of Australia, researchers have tracked what happens when dingoes are removed from an area versus left alone. Where dingoes are present, they suppress fox and feral cat numbers, sometimes just by killing them outright, no eating involved. And where the foxes and cats get suppressed, small native mammals bounce back in a big way. Bird populations recover. Whole ecosystems shift. One predator killing a rival it has zero interest in eating rearranged the entire food chain underneath it. Now, there's one animal that breaks almost every rule we've talked about, and it's worth pausing on. The mongoose. Specifically, mongooses that go after king cobras. A cobra bite would drop a lion. But mongooses have evolved a genetic tweak in their nervous system that blocks the venom from working properly. So they'll fight a cobra, kill it, and actually eat it. No hesitation, no fear, none of the too costly to deal with math that stops bigger predators. Take away the danger, and the reluctance to engage a rival predator just disappears. And speaking of animals that don't play by the kill and walk away rule, crocodiles are basically the opposite of everything we just covered. Nile crocodiles will eat almost anything that moves, including other crocodiles, including animals that are themselves predators. And the reason comes down to biology. Crocodiles are cold-blooded. Their metabolism runs slow and cheap. Digesting tough, unfamiliar meat doesn't cost them much energy at all. For a warm-blooded animal like a fox or a leopard, breaking down another predator's body is expensive. For a crocodile, barely a blip. Which brings us to something that used to puzzle researchers for a long time. Why do the biggest, strongest predators on the planet almost never go after each other directly? Wolves generally steer clear of picking fights with grizzly bears, even in territory they both want. It's not fear exactly, it's math. A fight that goes wrong, a torn muscle, a broken leg, means an animal that can't hunt. And an animal that can't hunt starves within weeks. The safest kill is never the toughest, scariest animal around. It's whatever gets you the most reward for the least risk. But shrink things down small enough, and that whole rule flips upside down. Ladybugs are a perfect example. There's an invasive species called the harlequin ladybug that's spread across the world over the last few decades, and researchers studying it found something brutal. Its larvae actively hunt down and eat the larvae of native ladybug species. Not occasionally, constantly. At that scale, there's basically no injury risk and almost no digestive cost. So eating a rival predator stops being wasteful and just becomes lunch. Which brings us back to that henhouse full of dead chickens, or that fox slipping out of a gull colony at dawn, having barely eaten a thing. It looks wasteful. It looks almost pointless. But from the fox's side, that wasn't really about food at all. It was about removing competition, securing territory, tilting the odds in its favor at the lowest possible cost. Every ecosystem on Earth is running the same quiet math underneath the surface. Who gets eaten and who just gets killed isn't about hunger most of the time. It's about risk versus reward. And most of the time, killing the rival is worth it. Eating it almost never is.